Sathya Sai Speaks, Volume 12, Chapter 14. Your Image in His Eye, Part 1 of 2. Man preens himself that he knows everything, but when asked about himself, he hangs down his head in shame. Man knows the news of every land, but he is ignorant of the nuisance that he himself is to himself and others. Man is moving in darkness, but yearning for Ananda, bliss. He does not know the means of securing Ananda: prayer, seva, selfless service, study of spiritual texts, meditation, silence. He has no faith that he is Ananda and that Ananda is his own nature. He is blown off by calamity, for he has no strength to withstand the blow. Faith in the God within is the toughest shield against the thrusts of fate. Birds build their nests laboriously, but they are torn away by storms. The fragrant petals of flowers are felled by rain. Defeat and victory are the obverse and reverse of the same coin. When you welcome one, you have willy-nilly to welcome the other too. Forbearance, compassion, and incorruptible virtue are the three pillars of a happy life. Only such a life can be called civilized. The rest is barbarian existence. This meeting began with a prayer. Good, but prayer for some benefit or gain should not be addressed to God, for it means that God waits until he is asked. Surrender to him. He will deal with you as he feels best, and it would be the best for you. God does not dole out grace in proportion to the praise he receives. When you pray for a thing from God, you run the risk of condemning him. If, for some reason, the prayer is not answered the way you wanted it to be, or as quickly as you wanted it to be. This contingency arises because you feel that God is an outsider, staying in some heaven or holy spot far away from you. God is in you. God is in every word of yours, every deed and thought. Speak, do, and think as befits him. Do the duty that he has allotted to you to the best of your ability and to the satisfaction of your conscience. That is the most rewarding puja, ritualistic worship. Inner cleanliness is godliness. When you stand before another, his image is in your eye and your image is in his. Haven't you observed this? You are in me and I am in you. That is the truth this phenomenon proclaims. When you have faith in this, and when you cultivate love, humility, reverence for life, and tolerance, then you are in the right path. When you are not on this path, that is to say, when you are traveling left, you are certainly left out. That is, you are left out when it is a question of sharing divine grace. The body is the temple of God, isn't it? Well, what does the priest do in the temple every day? First, he cleans the utensils and sacred vessels in the shrine. He sweeps the room and washes the altar. The censers are the utensils for the puja of the God within. They have to be cleansed and assiduously kept free from dirt. Inner cleanliness is godliness. That is possible only through sense control and mind control, or what amounts to the same sadhana, dedication of all desires and activities to God. There are various habits which can be learned in order to ensure equanimity. When someone insults you or defames you or ignores you, accept it with a smile. This is the way of the world. It is basically ungrateful, ill-mannered. Tell yourself, they are doing me a good turn, my strength is under trial. I should not yield to anger or resentment. Tell yourself such invigorating things and be quiet with a smile of triumph on your lips. There was once a sannyasin, mendicant, who was roundly abused by a gang of mischievous young men. He said, "Carry on, enjoy yourselves. I see that you are very happy at the chance. This is exactly what I desire for you. When you do not accept the insult someone casts on you, it goes back to the person who indulged in it first. A registered letter that is not accepted returns to the sender. Do not damage your mental peace by receiving the letter and reading the content. Refuse to receive it. You have a chance of correcting the wrongdoers too. Accept it and you join the gang of mischief makers. So be warned. Perform duty as an act of worship. When God is recognized as dwelling within, everyone will perform his duty as an act of worship. Children have to revere their parents. That is their duty. Parents have to bring up their children as bright and willing citizens capable of earning their own food and helping others in distress. If they shirk this duty, they have failed in their worship. Parents should not spoil them by allowing them too much of freedom and catering to their fancies. I know many parents who dote on their children and admire them when they learn the bad habits of gambling or drinking. The parents do not curb them when they swagger about in the bazaars, teasing and bullying those who pass by. They do not instill into the young minds the attitude of reverence towards property belonging to others. As a consequence, their children land themselves in trouble, and then the parents repent and curse themselves for their unpardonable foolishness. Lean on your own strength and skill. There is also another responsibility that devolves upon the parent. He must live the householder's life as laid down in the Dharma Shastras, scriptures on righteousness, so that a picture of a pure, happy life may be imprinted on the young mind. If the parent is a drunkard, a gambler, and a cheat, no amount of textbook ethics can cure the son. I like children and the young innocents. I will not allow them to be blamed. The fault lies wholly on the shoulders of the elders, the parents, the leaders who shape the norms which they imbibe. Dhritarashtra, the blind father, encouraged his 100 sons in their nefarious plots to bring about the destruction of the 5 Pandava cousins, and thus paved the way for their own total annihilation. He did not teach them by precept and example the lessons of love, sacrifice, and contentment. Do not lean upon others. Lean on your own strength and skill. Live on your own earnings, your own resources. Self-reliance is the best food for growing young men. It is best to live with honor for just a day than live with dishonor for many decades. Better a short-lived Hamsa, swan, than a century-lived crow. The Hamsa is adored by all. The crow is detested and stoned off. Do not crave for the property of others or for things that can be got by trickery or dishonorable means. Earn by the sweat of your brow, then you can be proud and happy when you spend it. Life is a mosaic of pleasure and pain. Then again, I will advise children not to read horror comics, books on crime and sex, and novels of vice and wickedness. Avoid also films, for though they may be advertised as very educative and inspiring, the producers, in their greed for profits, smuggle in low, vulgar, debasing scenes in order to please raw, untrained minds. Don't allow the virus of vice to infect your brains. If that happens, you descend to levels worse than the beasts. Do not build castles in the air and hope to live in them. Life is a mosaic of pleasure and pain. Grief is an interval between two moments of joy. Peace is the interlude between two wars. You have no rose without a thorn. The diligent picker will avoid the pricks and gather the flowers. There is no bee without the sting. Cleverness consists in gathering the honey nevertheless. Troubles and travail will haunt you, but you must not allow them to deflect you from the path of duty and dedication. When you go back after some years here to your villages, seek out the Sathya Sai Seva Samiti or Bhajana Mandali. Join that satsang, good company. Share the ananda, bliss of the seva, voluntary service that they do. Visit the patients in the hospitals. Sit by the side of the patients and read them books. Write letters for them and generally be kind and friendly to them in their time of loneliness and pain. Go to the slum areas. Move like lighted lamps, full of love and sympathy, and help the people there to get things done which will improve their health, add to their income, and advance their education. When the sugar of divine thoughts is added to the routine, tasteless water of daily life, it becomes sherbet and delightful to drink. So have divine thoughts and help others to have divine thoughts too. Man is the image of God. When you injure his image, when you discard him or dishonor him, or keep him at arm's length, how can God confer grace on you? Mine is mine, yours is yours. If you declare, God too will keep you beyond the reach of his love. Annie Besant said once that more than man seeking God, it is truer to say that God is ever seeking man. God is seeking a man who loves and serves his children and treats them as endearingly as he does. End of part 1 of 2, Hyderabad, April 1973.